Transport in plants 15. Ascent of sap experiment and transpiration and photosynthesis, a compromise. Objective: to study about the ascent of sap experiment and transpiration and photosynthesis, a compromise. Experiment: the cohesion tension transpiration pull model or cohesion tension theory can be demonstrated by an experiment. In this, a glass tube filled with water is dipped in a beaker of water. A sponge filled with water is fitted to the tube. Then the evaporation from the sponge is replaced by the water which is pulled up through the narrow glass tube. Due to this process, tension is created in the glass tube, which draws up the water from the beaker. The sponge can be replaced by a twig cut under water. This is to avoid entry of air into the xylem elements. The transpiration in the leafy twig results in tension that pulls up the water from the beaker, and continuity of water column in the tube is maintained. Measurements reveal that the forces generated by transpiration can create pressures sufficient to lift xylem-sized column of water over 130 meters high. Transpiration and photosynthesis, a compromise. Transpiration has many purposes. They are: transpiration creates transpiration pull. It is useful for the absorption and transportation in plants. It supplies water for photosynthesis. It helps in transportation of minerals from the soil to all the parts of the plant. It cools leaf surfaces, sometimes 10 to 15 degrees, by evaporative cooling. Transpiration maintains the shape and structure of the plants by keeping cells turgid. An actively photosynthesizing plant has an insatiable need for water. Photosynthesis is limited by available water, which can be swiftly depleted by transpiration. The humidity of rainforests is largely due to this vast cycling of water from the root to the leaf, to the atmosphere and back to the soil. Despite making plants lose substantial amount of water, transpiration is beneficial to plants in many ways. Hence, it is considered to be a necessary evil. The evolution of the C4 photosynthetic system is probably one of the strategies for maximizing the availability of CO2 and minimizing water loss. The ratio between the amount of water transpired and the amount of dry matter formed is called transpiration ratio. The value indicates the water requirement of the plants. The value is 600 for most of the mesophytic plants. C4 plants are more economic. They transpire about 300 grams of water for 1 gram of dry matter formed. For CAM, plant's transpiration ratio is about 50, as the stomata are closed during the daytime. Rate of transpiration is measured by Genong spotometer.